Hey there, happy Friday at lunch. We have a special guest today, and I want to make sure they can get on here. So I'm going to start with that. I'm ready to share an interview with you today with Olyvia, who is a young woman who had a stroke and has been working with our team. And quite frankly, maybe one of the hardest working people that I know. And she's going to join us live and share some of her story. So um, let's see, Olyvia, I just invited you. So let's make sure that you can get on. I think I see folks joining us live. And so if you're new, by the way, my name is Julie, and I'm a neurologic physical therapist. I'm the owner and founder of Re+active Therapy and Wellness. We run a neurologic rehabilitation center with PT, OT, psychology, fitness, yoga. And Olyvia is somebody that has been able to join our team. And actually, let's see, let me try inviting Olyvia again here, because it looks like she tried to join and couldn't. Oh, Olyvia, I see that you're on the live. And so even if you asked to join, I think I can add you
Hello.
in, but yay!
I did.
You
Hello.
made it. Hi. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. Let's see, let me get you in view here. And
Yeah,
you can hear me okay, right, Olyvia? Okay.
you're welcome.
Thank you so much for doing a live with me. I already told people that you were coming, and how excited I was. So Olyvia, I know people really want to hear who you are, your story. So start with as little or as much as you want to share, but of your story of having a stroke and how you ended up needing
Yeah.
rehab and all of those
So
things.
I was 22 when I had my stroke. It was in Colorado. My parents had to fly in, kind of a big one. It was a lot of trying to figure out why it happened because I had none of the like factors or anything. Ended up, I found out I have antiphospholipid syndrome, which is a blood clotting disorder that's pretty rare. And I was unable to move anything on my left side. I was blind in my left eye. It was just all bad. Um,
Yeah, it was. I can remember because I was getting text
yes,
messages at that time. And you have fans here, by the way. I
yes.
think
Hi,
you saw that
Sophie.
Sophie said hello.
Um,
You've got lots
yes.
of
So,
fans. Yeah. So you were in the hospital.
yes.
Lots
So
happening,
I did
right?
inpatient rehab. I was told not to work on my arm because it was a waste of time. I have been mainly focusing on relearning to walk, and I can walk. I went from being in a wheelchair to using a cane to now walking unassisted, and it's just been a long road.
It has been a long road and an
Yes.
awful lot of work for sure. I've seen you putting in the work. And it's funny because I'm like looking,
It
is that a
is.
staircase
So my
behind
room
you?
is upstairs. It's the
Yeah.
living room. Sorry, mom and dad.
Yeah, no, I remember when you came home and you started with us and you were staying with your parents and um the
No.
stairs were not easy to
The
do,
stairs were
right?
super hard. Yes, it was
And
really
kind of
scary.
scary.
I could only
Yeah.
do 3 stairs when I relearned in my inpatient rehab. And no, it's not clean, Dad, but working on it. It's, I now do, I don't know, I've never counted them, but probably at least like 17, 20 stairs every day, at least twice to go up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that alone is like a testament to things. And I'll never actually forget. We should tell people, because people are probably like, why do I know so much of this story? So I'm very lucky that Olivia is
Yeah.
my cousin, and so Olivia, I grew up with Olivia's dad actually, and we had like dance parties growing up. All the cousins hung out, and Olivia's dad and mom reached out to me when this all happened, knowing my love of all things post-stroke. And one of the things that I will very distinctly remember, because I got like so angry I could cry, was when you like you shared in the story, one of the therapists that you met in inpatient rehab kind of said not to bother with the arm. It wasn't coming back. And I can remember, like, I don't know how to text with emotion, but it might have been all caps that I was like, no, that is not true. Don't listen to that person. And you've kind of been fighting back ever since. So you had inpatient rehab, you ended up coming to California to stay with your family, and then I think maybe started with us like that very next
Yeah,
week,
I think I got home
potentially.
August 2nd, and I started with you guys the 3rd. It was literally like right away.
Oh my.
Went straight into it.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. So I'm so glad too. I know it can be hard to have like the transition. You get all of this therapy and inpatient rehab, and then all of a sudden you're home. And so I'm so glad you were able to get in. And maybe you can talk a little bit about like your early outpatient rehab. Like, what were some of the things you were first working on when you
So
started?
when I first started, at least with PT, I was working a lot on like getting off of the cane, not using the cane, working on taking more than like 3 steps and collapsing, and then getting rid of my wheelchair. I remember it was maybe like 2 or 3 months into Re+active. My physical therapist's name is Harrison, and he told me to get rid of the cane and put it in the garage, and it's been there ever since. I now go to Disneyland all day, walk around Disneyland, and it's a lot. I think my phone says it's like 6,000 steps minimum.
Yeah, you do a lot of walking, a lot on your feet. You're not using a wheelchair for anything at this point, right? Yeah, yeah, just fantastic. And I know you have, because I've been there. I've been a part of your therapy. You have a lot of fun. You work with Harrison. You work with Jenna. You've worked with like other people in some of like the learning settings, like Beth and Mike. I think it would be helpful for other patients or other clinicians to hear what have been some of your favorite things that you have done in therapy.
I honestly love to work out. Like, I've always been really active. I've always been the kid that's playing multiple sports. And so I like things that are like challenging, competitive. As far as PT goes, I would say my favorite thing is when my PT and I like play soccer together. Or sorry, I was reading. When I worked with Beth, it's just really fun because she's obviously like a neuro queen. She knows all the things, and it's always just nice to see people. I enjoy coming in working with the students that I do. As far as OT, I think yoga is probably my favorite, or push-ups, which is crazy to do because I had nothing before. And like now I can do, I think the last time Jen and I were talking about doing 60 push-ups, which like I don't even think I could do 60 push-ups before my stroke, let alone after.
I cannot.
No.
Most people can't do 60 push-ups. That is amazing. Yeah, I know you actually shared a couple of like pictures or videos of your hand or arm like early on, and not a lot of movement, not a lot of strength in it. And then Jenna compiled a bunch of your videos that I got to share today of like, the push-ups, the skateboard, like even opening cupboards with that hand, holding your dental hygiene tools with that hand and using it, putting on the glasses, like all kinds of things that are starting to come back. Actually, you shared a story with our I can't remember, maybe it was with Beth. It was with one of our educational groups from Disneyland. And I'm wondering if you could share that story about what you found in your arm.
Yeah,
that you could do
I
in
was
your
at Disneyland, and if anybody's been, there's a ride called Guardians of the Galaxy. It's basically like a free fall. And before you step in to where you're sitting for the ride, they tell you to like raise your arms to unlock the door. And literally, I just raised it, like full extension, just like nothing. And so it was kind of weird because I've learned quite a few different ways that just automatic movements are easy to unlock. Like one of them was my first day with my PT, we were just kind of standing, and I was just basically working on standing and not falling. Like that's how bad it was. And from across the studio, he kicks a soccer ball like full force at me, and I let go of my cane and kicked it.
And boom, that automatic movement. So you're saying Guardian of the Galaxies, when they tell you to put your arms up, like the arms just go, or that automatic, like when you're kicking, right? And like that is, such a strong lesson for all clinicians, but even patients too, is like doing some of these things in a directed way too can really help unlock things that seem like they're not there, right? Like you didn't know you could raise
and I had never been able to before.
Right?
It literally was just like I didn't think about it. I just did it, and it happened.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, after you've had a stroke or any kind of injury, sometimes you think a lot.
From the get-go,
about the movement,
my doctors have been telling me my brain gets in the way. I think too much. Stop thinking. Just do it. And it's hard. It's because then it makes you just want to think more. You're like, where do I put my foot? How do I move my foot? Like, I had no movement. And it just happens. It definitely takes time, but it's possible.
It is possible. You're getting
Thanks,
some kudos over here
Thanks,
from folks here that are here live. And you have quite a community, and you've really gotten back into life. I think your crew here is like a testament to that. Share with people like what you're doing now.
So life-wise,
we just lost Olyvia. She was just sharing with us, and she's got her whole crew here. Let me see if I can get her back. Let's see, Olyvia, where'd you go? Let me get you back on here.
It kicked me out, and I was like,
You're back.
Okay, so life-wise, I'm back to like going out with friends. For a long time, it was just staying at home, going to therapy, not leaving my parents, mostly my mom. And I've gone on my first like trip without my parents, just with friends from church. It was a church event, so I definitely still had people looking out for me, but I wasn't like babied, I would say. It was just make sure I did my meds and a lot of walking. But we just got back from San Diego. I'm planning a trip to Costa Rica in the fall. In August, I get to go to Oregon for my Aunt Mandy's wedding. She's on here. Hi, Aunt Mandy. So just a lot of things. I'm back and really active with my church, which I love. I'm a youth leader with them, so I do a lot with the youth ministry. Oh my gosh, what else? It's like hard to remember everything you do. I have a Disney pass again, thanks to my sister. So we go to Disneyland at least once a month, walking around, going on rides. My blood thinner that I have is a shot. I do that myself now. I do all my meds, which like might not seem like a big win, but for somebody that was super dependent on my parents for it, I now can do that. I get dressed on my own, like pretty much had to relearn to do just about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah. And you're right, like it's a big win. It is a big win to do all of that on your own when you really had to have help for those things. So that is huge. And are you in school, Olyvia?
I'm getting
ready to start school?
I go back hopefully in the fall. So August.
Yay. Okay.
Yes.
And that's to be a dental hygienist. Yeah. Yeah, that was like one of the highlights is to see you with our that was with our OT's
She's
mouth,
definitely
right?
a trooper for letting me practice on her. It was definitely
so
very
awesome.
fun, yes.
So awesome.
I've practiced on my mom in OT now, my actual OT.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Sign me
I'll
up.
do it.
Sign me up for teeth cleaning. I will do it. I will do it. So I think what's important though is like you shared so many things that are like truly like your own therapy, like literally going to Disneyland, right? Like just living and going up and down those stairs all the time and getting involved with are you helping out with the high school?
So the actual youth group is middle school through high school, but I am specifically like my small group is the high school kids. Yeah.
Oh, fun. Super fun. So just so many of these things like really kind of bring recovery alongside. You know, there's the rehab therapy side of things, and then there's the life side of just doing these things every day. Yeah, I think it's just it's such a testament to your dedication. You're also going like you like to work out and go to the
back
gym
to
too,
like
right?
My church is awesome. It has a gym with it. And so I wouldn't say it's like I'm not going to like 24-hour fitness or Planet Fitness or anything like that. But it's definitely like it's got a little mini treadmill. It's got a bike. It's got weights, a bench, like a leg press. It's literally got everything. It's pretty cool. And I go there quite a few times, which is something I've always wanted to get back into because I love it. So it's nice that I have that like little resource to be able to do.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And there's like lots of great research on aerobic exercise and resistance exercise and stroke. So it's like, again, you're just doing it in your everyday life, which is amazing. Totally amazing. I'm wondering what kinds of things would you say you've brought from therapy into your everyday life?
I get a lot of my positivity, I would say, from therapy. Everybody always comments on like how are you so positive? Like the worst thing possible could have happened and you're still like going along, or like people will say you're strong, or and honestly a lot of it comes from just like my community, my therapist. Coming to therapy has turned into being like something I would consider a chore. Like, oh, I have to go to therapy, into like a social event. I go, everybody there is always like, Olyvia. I have like even the patients will come up to me. I cheer them on, they cheer me on. So it's turned into like a great thing for me. Because I used to, in the hospital, avoid therapy, not want to go, was just like super not motivated, turning into like I come there and I'm like excited. I'm like, Mom, what time can we go? What time do we go? So I would say that.
Yeah. You're like the mayor of reaction.
I don't know about that.
Everybody knows who you are and is cheering you.
I mean, it's definitely
along.
a perk to hear my cousin. I think that adds to it. Everybody's like, oh shoot, gotta be nice.
Oh, I don't know. I have to tell you, it's so funny when you were in Colorado and I was like, texting with your parents and researching places, because I wasn't sure if you were coming back to California, if you were staying in Colorado, and I was like, this place and this place. I was actually really hesitant to suggest Re+active. And because I didn't want to be like, oh, you should come here because your family, or, it's a funny thing.
Yeah, you don't want to
like
self-promote.
Sometimes like sell it or force it on somebody. And I was very much like, well, this would be an option. And of course I was like, I really want, like, I know our team and I like know our approach, and I feel like I knew you were also like just dealt with this, like this just massive change in your life that is so hard, right? Like you said, when you're in the hospital, you didn't feel motivated. Of course you didn't. This is not expected of where you would be for anybody who's had a stroke. And I knew the, kind of the approach of our team from that kind of like mood boosting, like positive space. It would be really good. But I didn't want to force anything on family members. So I like did not sell us at all. I like undersold what we do. But I'm just so glad that you came. Like honestly, nothing really makes me happier. And I really don't think like your experience there is the experience for everybody there. So yes, we're related, but yes, we have the same grandma, but we, I was noticing Sophie was here and I was like, Sophie's like family too. Like we've got so many folks when they come and work with us, it's like family. So I wonder too, and there's even people in the comments that they feel really encouraged by your story, or they have other questions about recovery. I think a lot of times for folks with neurologic disorders and stroke, they do get discouraged, like, this isn't going to get better, or like not feeling that motivation. What would you say to a person that might be experiencing that?
Well, I tend to be more, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. So I feel like my faith has really helped me with that. Like just when I don't feel motivated, I don't feel like this can get any better. I just remember that like anything is possible with God. And I turn on some worship music. I pray. I text my pastor. I think he's in here. He was a big support when I was in the hospital and I was like, I'm done. I don't believe in God. Like, I'm over it. So, just like that weekly, I go Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays for my youth group and then Sunday for church. And even there, it's like I walk in and people are like jumping. They're so excited to see me because they saw me the first time I came home. I was severely malnourished, underweight, in my wheelchair, like not talking, just a completely different person. And they've seen me before the stroke, during, after, like, so even going there, it's crazy to see how many people are like supportive and motivating and just like telling me you're doing so much better even when I don't feel like it.
Yeah, I think you're speaking so powerfully to so many things, like the community, the like spiritual piece, like really thinking about,
Yes.
mind
Body
like
connection is a thing.
soul things. It is a thing, right? It's a very powerful thing. And I I thank you for sharing that really too, because I think sometimes that's missed when you've got like a physical issue going on, is how much that mind, body, spiritual piece affects the physical.
Sorry if you can hear my dog. He's dreaming and crying.
No.
I guess.
Oh, he wants to be a part
he's down
of this
there.
video,
Parker,
right?
he's wearing a cone.
Hi. Oh.
He had a
why the cone?
spot on his butt that he was just biting at, and I guess he just made like a raw spot. So now he has to wear a cone. He hates it.
Oh.
That's why
Cone
he's
of shame. He does. Yeah. We forgot about the dog.
He
The dog's
is
part of your family. So
yes,
it's a big part. We love dogs as therapy dogs. Now, last piece, Olyvia, is what we always have clinicians. In fact, I see Trinetta here, for example. She's been cheering you all along too. What kind of message do you have for therapists who might be working with people like you post-stroke? What advice
I would
share
say your words are powerful. So telling somebody something's not possible or you can't do this, they're going to believe it, and that's going to show in their abilities and their recovery. For like the first piece. Second piece, I'd probably say push them, like push the limits, push the boundaries. Worst case, they can't do it or whatever exercise you're trying, but at least you tried. And at least with me in my recovery, my therapist always try different things. Like yesterday, I had PT and he wanted to try this exercise, basically standing on a tilt board, doing squats, which is something I would have never been able to do. And he wanted to do it. So we were doing it eyes open first. Then he wanted to try eyes closed. And I looked at him and I was like, "You're crazy, dude. No thanks." And he was like, "Come on, you can do it. Just try." And then he like challenged me a little bit, knowing I'm competitive. So he did it, and then I tried, and I could do it. So I surprised myself just as much every day at therapy. So if you honestly just push them, maybe not the first time, but the second or at least the third time, they'll get it. So just like don't put a limit on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No limits. I love that. So expect recovery, push the possibility. The words matter. I think Trinetta even commented there.
Words recovery. Yeah.
Words are powerful. Yeah. Expect recovery. Push the boundaries. Push the limits, and maybe even in like small steps, but that's fantastic. I don't know that I can be on the balance board in a squat with my eyes closed. So,
and he wanted it to stay even the whole time, so I'm not compensating on my not affected side. He wanted it to stay completely level. So it's definitely a big challenge. Even before this, I don't know that I would be able to do that, but I did it. I did it. I think we did 12 reps through 3 different sets. So
that's so awesome. You are awesome, Olyvia. And I'm so thankful for you.
You're the one that's doing this.
And thankful grateful for you being open to share your story and, you know, the recovery you made, but the recovery you're still, it's not over, right? So you're still, I know you're still working so, so hard. And it's a long road, and it has been already.
True thing I would say, I guess last piece, is in the hospital, my neurosurgeon told me that it would be a marathon, not a sprint. And that's been like the most true thing.
You've been marathoning
it
for
happened
how many
in
months
June
now?
2022, so not a year, quite a year. What is that, like 7-8 months?
Okay. Yeah. It's a long marathon, and it continues. So we are all still very much cheering you on. Like, even like it's like you're on, you know, mile 26 again and again, but we're cheering you on to that finish line. And thanks for sharing your story with so many people here too.
Thank you for always being supportive, not just you, but everybody here.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Olyvia. Have a great rest of your day and rest of the weekend with your family.
Yes,
too.
Happy Mother's Day, Julie. All right, bye.
All right.